في نشر كلمات مديح تعاطف وتشجيع عمل إرهابي دعم إرهابية.
Hey everyone, it's David, producer for The Benjamin Dixon Show, and like it or not, we know that the Israeli government is run by the Israeli far right. For Benjamin Netanyahu to survive politically, he teamed up with the far right. Israeli settlers have significant power and representation in Israeli government now, not least by the likes of Yoav Gallant and Itamar Ben-Gvir. But more and more, the Israeli government is also showing fascist tendencies and tactics. It's been less than 100 years since World War II ended. It's been less than 100 years since the Holocaust took place. And Israel is not only exhibiting fascist tactics and tendencies, but what I feel are behaviors that echo the Nazis. That's not to say that they are like the Nazis or Nazi adjacent. They're not. We know that Nazis were anti-Jew. Nazis believed that Jews were inferior. They were obviously anti-Semitic. And Israel is obviously pro-Judaism. They obviously believe that Judaism is superior. They claim to represent Judaism. We'll save that discussion for another day, but I'll just say it is not anti-Semitic to criticize Israel. Israel is not representative of Judaism. We'll leave it there. But it's been less than 100 years. To be exact, it's been 78 years since the end of the Holocaust. Well, there is a video that I actually found through Al Jazeera, who's been very accurate to date in the ongoing conflict in Israel. And the video shows a couple, a Palestinian couple who have Israeli citizenship, being arrested. And they're being arrested because of what they put as their status on WhatsApp. Here's the video.
اسمعيني شوي صغيرة. انت موقف، استنى شوي صغيرة. انت موقفة في اتهام في نشر كلمات مديح تعاطف وتشجيع عمل ارهابي. دعم، استنى شوي، دعم تعريض حيازة اعلانات تحريض تعرض على العنف والارهاب، الكشف عن الانتماء الى منظمة ارهابية.
Now I want to go back and just spell this out. Using WhatsApp on October 25th, the woman changed her WhatsApp status to say simply, "May God grant them victory and protect them." She didn't identify who them is. But because she's Palestinian, and one would assume Muslim, it seems that Israeli police have made the assumption that she must be defending and referring to Hamas. She hasn't acted on behalf of Hamas. Her husband hasn't acted on behalf of Hamas. They haven't partaken in terrorist activities or terrorism, but they're being arrested for a post on WhatsApp and praying for victory and support, but not identifying for whom. Now, the law that Israeli police are doing this under is the counterterrorism law, and Israel had just amended the law. The bill, which was approved by a 13-4 majority in the Knesset, is a temporary 2-year measure that amends Article 24 of the counterterrorism law to ban the, quote, systematic and continuous consumption of publications under circumstances that indicate identification with the terrorist organization. And somehow Israel is saying that the WhatsApp status identifies or indicates identification with Hamas, and somehow ties that WhatsApp status to continuous consumption of publications. Now, according to the article, human rights groups in Israel have said it is tantamount to thought policing, which is really what it seems to be, because there's no evidence that this WhatsApp post is related to Hamas. There's no evidence that this couple have consumed terrorist publications or materials, yet they're arresting them based on a status that they're claiming was support for Israel, not Hamas. The article quotes the Legal Center for Arab Minority Rights in Israel, saying, quote, "This law is one of the most intrusive and draconian legislative measures ever passed by the Israeli Knesset, since it makes thoughts subject to criminal punishment." The Legal Center for Arab Minority Rights also said it warned that the amendment would criminalize, quote, even passive social media use, which is what this seems to be. The statement also said, quote, "This legislation encroaches upon the sacred realm of an individual's personal thoughts and beliefs and significantly amplifies state surveillance of social media use." The Association of Civil Rights in Israel also slammed the amendment, saying it has, quote, no precedence in democratic countries, and that its ambiguity ultimately leaves its interpretation to the enforcing authorities, as we see in this video. In the article, Al Jazeera also reports that since the war began on October 7th, and I'm saying war based on the article, we can discuss how this is really not a war, but that's a discussion for another video. Since the war began on October 7th, the Palestinian citizens of Israel have been subject to an unprecedented campaign of arrests for speech-related offenses, mostly over social media posts. Dozens have been suspended or expelled from jobs, universities, and colleges. Now just imagine if leftists, or just anyone in general, voiced support online for Antifa or Black Lives Matter, neither of which are terrorist organizations, but the right wing would have you believe in the United States that Antifa is a terrorist organization. Imagine if MAGA supporters or Trump supporters were arrested for voicing support for those who took part in January 6th. Not for taking part in January 6th, just showing support online, which many did, if they were arrested just for voicing support online for the events of January 6th. Policing of thought, policing of language that is ambiguous, that isn't even clear, but arresting people and punishing people just by claiming that it's connected. This is fascist behavior. And for a government that purports to represent Judaism to be acting in this way is just completely, it's more than outrageous. It's hard to put words to it, but it's something that we should all be concerned about. The United States has exhibited fascist tendencies in certain laws and policies. We saw it under Trump's 4 years in office. Some have criticized Biden for some of his policies in the same light. But when you put together what Israel is doing, both in their response to Hamas with the siege, their treatment of Palestinian civilians, killing more than 11,000 civilians, including more than 4,000 children, evicting and assaulting and harassing Palestinians in the West Bank, not allowing Jewish settlers in the West Bank to harass, assault, and even kill Palestinians without any repercussions. All of that, plus the ongoing apartheid and occupation, and now policing and persecuting and prosecuting people because of vague social media posts. And even if they're not vague, they're not taking part in terrorist activities, they're not committing crimes. This is wrong. There's no other way to put it. Anyway, let us know what you think, as always, in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll be back with more.